So those things we should try by all means. By all means. I know we cannot run away from that, as I earlier mentioned, but those are the challenges that we normally face in the business. But in everything, we put all the things in the hand of God for wisdom and understanding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So, Kanamayo, not also the workers. Sometimes sit them down, have a conversation, let them also see you as a human being, of course, and don't be too friendly, but don't always be bickering. They can, start to resent you and just do certain things out of spite. So, Madam Malire, according to you, what do you think would be the biggest challenge for women when it comes to things like accessing resources, accessing financing? I don't know how easy it was or difficult it was for you when you were starting. I heard you saying I started with 5 hectares, 10 hectares. Was it easy for you to access that financing or that money for you to be able to do that, or did you have to go through hell and high waters to be able to get that funding? And what do you think is the biggest challenge for anyone who's looking to start, and what do you think they should do in order to sort of help with that?
Okay. Maybe when I mentioned those hectares, not that I had so much money to start with. My father owns land, a lot of land that is not utilized, so I thought I needed to utilize it. We are 4 girls, and we've only got 1 boy who is a drunkard. So if we don't do anything at the land stays idle. So I was just trying to utilize it, which I'm still doing. Yes. So it didn't involve a lot. It was just seed and fertilizer. Yes. But for us who has made step 1 into a business, just learn the easiest, simple record keeping. Because any financial institution would want to know how are your records. Because even if they will tell you that bring us the management accounts, even if you are to find anyone to help you with that, they will want somewhere where you are recording something. But if that something is not there, you can't guess. Financial institutions do not work with guesswork. They want something they can read through. Yes, so I think get organized in just starting to record something every day. Record something, make it pass through your bank account. So we should not be scared of banks. You can open a current account. It's not very expensive. Withdrawals and deposits, they are free of charge. It's actually cheaper than most of these ATM, MTN, Airtel. It's actually cheaper. Develop a relationship with any bank of your kind. Then there are these women, like I know of Zanako, they have a program called Z Women, something like that. Yes. It's one of the hindrances that we have as women, there's sheer collateral. Most of the times when you happen to have land, you find that the name is in the man's. But we should also endeavor that when we acquire property, also something is in your name. Yes. So usually they'll look for collateral. If you don't have that, you can't move. But programs like Z Women, it's collateral free. But they'll still need documentation. So I think for just a simple startup, just do record keeping. It will help you step out. Yes, because we have got even just these organizations around that would want to help. They would still want to see a record. So even if it's the simplest business that you are doing, just keep records. One day, they will be of great help.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Now, as a financial advisor, investment advisor, I obviously have a passion for ensuring that whatever you do is protected somehow. Madam Kristen did say something very important about the possibility of one day just walking up to your store and there's a fire that has broken down. So what would you say, or what would you advise that people should do, or maybe you can even just bring it down to your own personal experiences. What is helping you ensure that you are protecting what you are doing? For all the money that you're making from your business, are you reinvesting it elsewhere, or are you reinvesting all of it back into the business, or you are chewing all of it? And are you protected in any way, shape, or form, such that if a disease were to break out today and you lost all your animals, God forbid, do you know where you would start from? So this one will be to you, Madam Richard.
So we have insurance. You can find out more. We have insurance. You can find out why. I know everyone knows about insurance. So it's good when you're running a business to also have insurance, because you cannot be prepared for eventualities. So if you're insured, you know that if you had a problem, the insurance will come in and you'll be able to start from somewhere.
I'd like to hear from the two ladies as well. How protected are you or your businesses, or what would you say to anyone that's looking to start a business in terms of how to make sure that they are protecting their assets?
As Ada mentioned, keeping record is very important. I remember there was one scenario that happened that was a week ago. One of my friends was doing well, and something happened in the business. So now, here is the government want to come in to help. Okay? And then the first thing that they ask her, the records. So as people want to come in and help in case of anything happen, keeping record is very important, because that's where everything starts from. And then another thing, they talk about insurance. This thing, they seem very expensive, but at the end, it pays and it's very cheap. And if you know that your business is well established, please also engage the insurance. It's very, very, very important. Yes. And again, it's not hand-to-mouth thing when you're running a business. It's not hand-to-mouth thing. Learn to save. No one knows about tomorrow. And people who are in farming, I think they can testify. You find that today you have a harvest, next year there's drought. How will you continue farming on your stock? So if you are saving, if you have bumper harvest, it's a sign that it's telling you that save, because the future is not in your hand. So let's learn to save, so that in case of anything, you have a backup. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Okay. All right. So to wrap up our conversation, in just one sentence, what would you say to either younger you when you were just starting, or to anyone in this room that is looking up to you, wanting to be like you in one way or another? What is the one piece of advice that you would give any woman? So, in just one sentence.
So, anybody who's looking to, you've had a dream of doing something, a business, and you're still contemplating on whether or not to do it, my best advice is you should start. You'll be amazed at how much you will grow once you start.
All right, thank you. Madam Manuel?
Okay, so just in one sentence, just an encouragement. When I started, then we went into a manual. First sorry, don't be a sentence. When we were doing it on a brazier, we could do half of a medak, half of 5 kg. Then we advanced to a manual roaster, but still using charcoal, which is able to do a 20 kg in 40 minutes. But with resilience, we are using electrical machinery now. I just need to praise Kwasha Filpa. then it starts roasting. The journey has not been easy. The most important thing is step out. The rest will just roll.
Okay, piece of advice?
Women do not compete. They collaborate. Very important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, ladies. So to everyone in this room, when you see a woman sitting next to you or sitting across the room, don't look at that person as competition, please. Let's stop competing with one another. We are here to build each other. We are here to be there for each other. If you're in a similar industry, listen, there's enough room for all of us to grow and excel and be our best versions. So I will open it up for just about 3 questions. If anyone would like to ask any of our beautiful ladies here a question, I will give 3 ladies to ask questions to anyone, and then we'll wrap up our discussion. So by show of hands, if you have a question, just, okay, there's a question there. Just wait for the mic.
Mashinani nileo Angela Chingungu tufunile karumbira kwisa kwandi kuno na ba Trident Foundation FQM eba sponsor besu babyo balanda ile kwati ningumfwa bantu fianse byo balanda ba madam kuja if you are to collaborate. If you need for sana, put number 2, vachilando kwevati. Takwa bongo ishirifikisa chitamani. Then ba madam wabali pakati vachilanda kwevati number 1 thing kuchita report keeping. Inepano ko mlengo na nimfi kuntaji nimfirwa okusenda contract bachilanda ati mulando wa saving on mobile money last year na lisenda ko roni ya Copperbelt Edition na tibindi if it was sambilira how to expand your business if you feel na leto ndo kanimfirwa kashi ndambe ko Edition but Trident FQM bambera na loni idi ni Copperbelt na tamba na such the sage market na sanga makampani zaba 4 aba kuchitako supply ama vegetable so if ya shire chitika bila vile barandi inena lepo kera mumomo so fino for lera na pano na lisa sanga contracts ewa lepo kukalundira boarding school bale for ayama local contractors Agribusiness bali abo 6 inena banamba all of that we kaba msele business association chitasa community ama papers bisa sana NCC ishiri shikweki ukuye ku NCC ati nzele certificate bale ndomba bank account pero bank account yo bale ndomba ile kwaika ikwate bank statement nomba ine yose na le chitashani na le bika ni fiwa so na yote sana bafyo balanda na balanda ni sana so inenga mama na ni form mfidi depo pia hivi era no uno shwani ni kuli no mwe kwa likono no tokera sana.
Thank you so much. There was a hand, there was one at the back there before. I think is there any hand this side? Nothing, okay. There's one at the back there. Yes. Over there. Just raise your hand so that they can see you. Raise your hand up high. please remember to say your name and where you are from, what you are doing. We're here to network, isn't it?
Good morning, beautiful people. My name is Mary Chand. I'm coming from Chenga Province, Nigeria. My question is under insurance. I can give an example of what happened to me. I've planted pine trees. So when I started, in my first 1 hectare, it got bent, like fire destroyed. So now my question is, how can I get insurance concerning that? Because at the moment, I'm dealing with 10 hectares of pine trees. So we do have a fabric, and we do all the securities needed, but again, people differ. You may never know what comes tomorrow. I can secure my pine tree so that I don't get into another disaster like the one I had. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. So I'm aware that we have one of our partners, which is an insurance firm. So I think your question is more directed to the actual people in insurance. So I've seen there's a table to my left. You can just raise your hands, ladies. There's two ladies from Prudential there. I think maybe it might be helpful for you to just have a conversation with them so that they can give you a tailored solution to your question. Yeah? Okay, I have 5 minutes, so I'll take 2 last questions. There was a hand here and one at the far end there. Just keep your hand raised up so that she can see you.
Good morning, panelists, and good morning, everyone. You're really looking beautifully tipped. My name is Rivon. I'm an engineer by profession, electrical. I work for a company that makes transformers, and we do supply and installation. But I'm here as a farmer. We do fish farming and poultry farming. My question is going to Madam Maliwe. I heard you say you are farming on a family land, which I appreciate that very much. My question is, have you ventured into growing groundnuts, or how have you engaged other farmers to supply you the groundnuts, and is there a certain quality or seed that you are looking at? And then my other question is going to Madam Ruche. We are also doing broilers, but the challenge that we are having is the kind of breed. What has worked for you, and how have you managed to maintain the numbers that you're having? Because last year, like you said about getting good help, we thought getting somebody who is experienced and schooled and all that would help us with our business, but we ended up having a loss of more than 2,000 beds, and that is on loaned investment. And now we still, under the investment or the institutions do not appreciate them, or whether they will do, but they'll still want their money, and you have to pay quite a lump sum. So how do you manage with the workers, the breed, and just the help that you're getting, so that maybe you can give some advice how we can move forward with such an investment loss? Thank you.
I use Zamchick, that's my preferred breed. I've used Zamchick for some time now. I normally, from the time that we get them, you start introducing different things like ginger, moringa, aloe vera, so that you reduce all the sicknesses that you would experience if you didn't use those things. Of course, we know about the 4 medicines, the vaccines that we're supposed to give them, Gumboro twice, Newcastle twice. But then, don't rely just on that. You have to use moringa, you have to use ginger, you have to use garlic and the cheese. So, and I also do it in phases. I'll have the first, maybe I'll receive the first batch 2 weeks before, then 2 weeks after I'll receive the other batches. Don't keep, don't have a big stock which are of the same age, because you're dealing with different poultry, so you keep a certain number in one poultry, a certain number in the other poultry, a certain number in the other, and then also make sure that you are disinfecting. Formerly, SP Black, ViroQ, you are alternating with these for disinfecting. Then you have the points where you have to step whenever you're entering the poultry, making sure that you also monitor what is happening in the poultry yourself. Because when you just leave it to people, sometimes they'll be negligent. You find he's moving from a poultry where there are bigger birds going into where there are smaller birds. He didn't go through the water, passing in the water to disinfect. That's also a problem because you transfer certain things from there to the next. So it's also about you, who is the owner of this business, being very, very attentive as to what is happening in the different poultries. So make sure you have ginger all the time. Birds do well if they're taking ginger. You won't have any cough, you won't have diarrhea, the white diarrhea, you won't have respiratory tract infections. So if you're using ginger, you're using garlic, you're using chili, you're using moringa, you have a less complications with respiratory infections and just sudden deaths.
So the next question, let's try to just keep it as short as possible.
Oh, okay. I think when you are just a starter, like in my field, you don't care so much what groundnuts you use. But for now, we are using groundnuts called Solonton, for those that don't Chalibana. So every customer that supplies groundnuts, they know that whatever Monfia Solonton. So for scaling up, we will need to start it from the ground. Like you organize a farmer scheme where you have a number of farmers trained with what you want them to do, given a seed from us, so that, yes? No, that's the phase where we are at now. We gather specific farmers, give them the seed we want them to grow on our behalf, teach them how to do the drying, the harvesting, the drying, until it is packed in the bag, so that the issue of aflatoxin is not seen anywhere in our peanut butter. But for now, the only thing we are doing to prevent that before we get there, we ensure that we sort the aflatoxin groundnuts from the wet-go, so that when we are doing production, we have already dealt with that already.
Thank you so much. One last question to the lady there. Please keep it as short as possible. 10 seconds. Even the answer should be 10 seconds long. Just raise your hand so she can see you with the mic.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Lily Kamachai. I'm the pig farmer. Funny enough, I think my story is almost like Much's. And I think I'm very happy when I hear people who are keeping pigs. I equally started with 3 pregnant pigs and 1 male. That is about 3 years ago. I'm currently sitting at 185. Although I've been selling. And what I've been doing is I've just been, I'll kill, find where to have it chopped nicely, proper pieces, package and then sell. Sometimes I'll sell the whole pig and everything, but I feel like adding value to them would actually make me more money. What I wanted to find out from you is how easy has it been for you to find markets? And how easy has it been for you to avoid the fluctuation of the pricing and just to manage the pricing so that you make the profit? Because one thing I've seen is where we sell to the butcheries and other places, you find that they really want you to reduce the price so that they make more money than a farmer who's keeping the pig. So I just want to understand how has it been. It's been 3 years for me. It's working fine, but I just want to also understand from your end, how easy has it been for you to find markets out there? Like now, I have pigs that I have to sell, but I'm like, I'm not comfortable with the price that is on the market. So how do you manage that? Thank you.
Actually, it's very difficult to find market, but by God's grace, I have some ties with people who run event hires, and they need a whole pig, they need chickens, they need goat meat. So the market, if you are trying to sell a whole pig to people who sell at the market, for instance, at a local market, they want you to give them a live pig at 65 kwacha per kg. I'm sure that's what you're doing. But if you kill the pig yourself and have it sliced into proper pieces and package it, you sell 110 for 1 kg. 110? Yeah. 110 for 1 kg, and then 2 kg, 210. Yes. Then for you to find markets to sell these pigs, it's quite difficult. But we have days when we have people come through and say, okay, I want to start keeping pigs. They'll come to the farm, get maybe 10, 15, 20 animals. And those days are better for us. And then we have these days where, whether we like it or not, like on a weekly basis, I need to get rid of maybe 10 pigs because it helps me to buy feed. Remember, I do not yet have a hammer mill for me to make my own maize brand. I'm trying to go into that direction. I'm still buying meal number 3 and then mix it with other things to make it more nutritious for the pigs to eat. So the market is not very easy to find, but we still have. Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much. And I know more people have more questions, but remember we have a long day ahead. We'll have our breakout session where we get to interact with our beautiful ladies here and ask as many questions as you want. Now, this brings us to the end of our discussion. By show of hands, who enjoyed the session? If you didn't, we'll start again. We'll start from scratch. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being amazing panelists. It's been a pleasure to hear from you, learn from you, and I hope that most, if not everyone in this room has been able to pick up something from your stories and your experiences. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the event, ladies. Again, my name is Jessica Chilala Jere. I do financial literacy content online, so please follow me, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and let's connect throughout the event. Thank you so much.
A round of applause for that amazing section. Thank you so much, Jessica, to our wonderful panelists. How many have left different? How many have been impacted by what has been shared? I think they deserve a bigger round of applause. Right now, to all the women present here, in case you are looking for the restrooms, we have a door to the very restroom at the back, and you can go down the hallway and you will be going it that way. Secondly, if you have a piece of paper, a small piece of paper, I mean, that just sounds like you're saying, hi, Vanessa, how are you doing? Walking a window, share entrepreneur! Amazing, I'll share a story of how I am a part of you. I am a woman in agribusiness, but when we started, I said, so when I was growing up, are we together? I was the child that said, you know? And I was always dedicated to saying, but the interesting part about this is my mother is here present today. And she can testify to that, So fast forward to a few years later, I I noticed something. My mom, I come from Luansha, I mentioned that, and in Luansha, so that's why I'm a restaurant, all right? And growing up, my mom was very creative with our food. She would make a lot of condiments and sauces and make it exciting for us because we needed to try out different things. So she made this specific sauce, and it was a mango pickle sauce. And every time people came home, they would finish this sauce. A few years later, I go to college, and I never send the sauce here. Mango pickle and chili, right? How many of you tried mango pickle? And I took it, and every time I offer it to my friends, they used to finish it. So I thought to myself, I said, maybe, let me package this mango pickle. And again, the chili would come from my mother's garden, you know, and she's growing this chili, she's somewhere here. And I said, okay, let me offer this to my friends at a small fee. I started with 5 kwacha, all right? For a little packet like this. And I realized, I said, Management, what's that kwacha? I said, oh, okay. Okay, so these who are getting it for free can buy. I packaged it in a bigger pack, and I put it at 20 kwacha, all right? And my friends cleaned out this mango pickle, okay? I said, mine are not. Kaididine or in between, it depends on the day. By age, I'm a millennial, but by character, I'm a Gen Z. So I said, what do Gen Zs like? They like a beautiful packaging, Instagram worthy, TikTok worthy. I packaged this mango pickle, which I will own today. I can't say it's mine because my mother is here. The rest of it is not mine. I packaged this mango pickle in glass jars, all right? I got it properly registered. I made sure I got the right barcodes. I did my research. I sat down in mentorship. They worked on shelf life. I sat in there and mentored and networked. And I repackaged the mango pickle at a different price. And I took it to the right market. And I have it in a few stores in Lusaka. Alright? In case you manage to catch wind of the woman that looks like me in this room, don't ask her because she always tells me the mango people shut up for benefits. Alright? And I just think there's so much beauty in constantly learning, and a lot of the things start with where we are at. Can we agree with that, women? We can all attest to it. So fast forward to this year, She Entrepreneur had launched the agro-tourism. And they took a group of women who had traveled to South Africa to just be able to get more access and information on how people are doing agriculture in South Africa, right? I had the privilege of being part of this team. And when I went there, from the mango people I said, let me start making ketchup, tomato sauce. Number tomato sauce, let me testify, people of God. No tomato sauce, I think my tomato sauce, no. And I was thinking, what is going on? When I went for the conference that was held in South Africa in Joburg, I got to learn, and when you say I'm a farmer, I had no idea. So for the first time, I now understood why sometimes when I'm making soup, and it was because of networking with farmers. Do not take for granted the room that you're in. Do not take for granted the women that are sitting next to you. I want to take this moment for you to give yourselves a round of applause for being here today. Now I'd like to call upon our next speaker before we do get into our breakaway sessions and everything else we have today. Join me in welcoming a representative from Sifao, who is here to give us more insight and knowledge on what exactly Sifao has for us. A round of applause for her.
Hi, good morning. How are you, ladies? Everybody looks gorgeous, by the way. I love the green. It's giving growth, abundance, beauty as well. Firstly, I'd like to thank She Entrepreneur for reaching out. I think these are the type of initiatives that speak to who we are as a company. Sifao Mobility, you know, some of our core values. Number one, entrepreneurship in our work, performance, agility. And these are a key requirement in order for you to grow in agribusiness. Something I've come to appreciate about She Entrepreneur is the continuous effort to bringing women into these spaces, creating room for us, where we can speak to each other, where we can learn, where we can see what others are doing in order to grow. And for that, I am absolutely grateful to the organizers of this event. How many are from out of town? Just a quick show of hands. I'm also from out of town. Like, guys, it's hard moving. To leave your homes and come here to congregate and speak and listen, it is a huge effort. So just a round of applause for those who came in from wherever you came in from. You know, Sifao, everybody asks me, oh, y'all sell cars. Yes, we do, but we don't. There's a reason why we're called mobility and not motors anymore. Because everybody sells cars. Jim, Jack, Leandro, Wanya, everybody can sell you a car. I don't sell cars. I sell solutions. We sell answers. And there's a reason why we say mobility. So quite all right, Ford and Suzuki are the flagship brands that are here today. As you can see, there is a Suzuki Eco outside. That's a commercial vehicle that takes about 600 kgs. And we also have a 750 kg commercial vehicle under Suzuki. Then I think you've seen there's a Ford outside there. Unfortunately, I can't give it away. I can't give it away. But I can tell you this, mobility is a requirement for agriculture. Because as your business grows, you have to move. You know, whether you're taking your raw goods to a manufacturer, whether you're taking them to your factory to the shop, whatever it is, you have to move. Now, how do you keep moving? There's this huge misconception that if you don't have cash, you can't buy a vehicle. That's an absolute lie. We work with every financier in the country. So, how many people are banking with Stanbic? Raise your hands. ABSA, Zanaco, Access Bank, EcoBank, FNB. Okay, my point is, anyone willing to give you money, we work with it. We're the #1 automotive company in the country. So outside of vehicles, our main brands are Ford, Suzuki, Toyota. However, we also have a division called equipment. As your business is growing, you're going to need a forklift. How many of you have seen and used a forklift? So, warehousing, forklift. Did you know that you don't even have to buy it, you can rent it from us. You can rent, you can lease. Over there, my colleague Anthony has some brochures. There's a phone number for our forklift team. So yeah, I mean, you got surprised. Hey, oh, Sifao does that. Yes, we do everything. We do Sino trucks, we do Hino trucks. We are so wide. That's the reason why we say we are mobility, we are not motors. Because we're offering you more. You come to me as a small business and tell me, Mwanza, I'd like that Ford Ranger outside. Okay, cool. We'll talk to your bank. They'll give you a facility. We'll give you the car. You go about your merry way. Oh, Mwanza, I need a truck. We can also talk to your bank again. We continue. This is how we work. It's an ecosystem. The ecosystem exists to support you. And the only way you can actually learn about your opportunities is if you ask. Because I know, a lot of you, I think you've seen a price outside of that eco, eh? You're like, hey, 17,000. No, you don't have to pay for it yourself. You can pay a monthly via your bank. That's why your bank is there. Banks are so important in SME growth. And I will tell you now, I work in this industry. 70% of the vehicles are on VAF, Vehicle Asset Finance. So talk to your bank. Talk to us as well. Because sometimes maybe your bank is just not addressable with you. Did you know that some banks will take you up, even if you don't bank with them? Yeah, they will. They will look at your statements, they'll be like, oh, Mrs. Shani, okay, you make quite a bit of money. You can move your account to us and we'll finance this vehicle. It's that simple. And like I said, we work with everybody. So we want to work with you, actually. Over there is my colleague, Anthony is from here. He's the lead for sales, vehicle sales, here in Kitwe. So he's right there. You can actually test drive the vehicle today, the Ford Ranger. So I think you can start driving your dreams right now, as of this moment. So that Ford Ranger that's outside, I'll just give you a bit. That's our most basic version, what we call the base model. It's a double cab, it's going for $36,000 all inclusive. That's your taxes, your duties, everything. It's a 4x4, it's a manual. It can take up to 1 ton and it can tow 3? Yeah, it can tow up to 3 tons. So it's a pretty good vehicle. We call it the farmer's friend actually. Because a manual vehicle will give you control in the most rough situations. That vehicle is being used in the mines. It is being used in the rough and tough terrain. And actually, did you know that Ford, the event you were talking about, the NAPO event in South Africa that She Entrepreneur attended, was sponsored by Ford SSA, who are our principals. So our commitment to farming is not just here in Zambia, it's everywhere, it's nationwide, it's region-wide. So I hope that I have helped you dispel some of the misconceptions around vehicles, the misconceptions around CFAO as well. We're here to support you. We offer so much. Oh yes, and I completely forgot, tires. How many of you have a car right now? Right there. Did you know that CFAO sells tires? Now you know. We have CFAO outlets countrywide, Lusaka, Kitwe, Livingston, Solwezi, Kalumbila. We have authorized service centers in Idola, in Mansa, in Kasama, in Chipata. We're one of the widest nets in terms of service, in terms of access. So I'm hoping that you can visit us over here, or we can chat outside in the car. If you have your license, by the way. Please make sure you have a license. We can take a test drive today if you like. And feel free, our cards are there, we are here. Thank you so much, She Entrepreneur. This is an awesome platform. I'm so happy to see, and it's a full house. That in itself is just commitment, and we really do appreciate that. Don't forget to enter the raffle. We do have some prizes, so all you have to do is write your name, NRC, and your phone number. You'll be put into a little thing, and then we'll enter 50 now? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, she'll announce when it's time to pick our winners, rather. But generally, yeah, all winners. And thank you for the time. You have an awesome day. So you share
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Patricia Mandalesa, coming in from FPM Kalumbila. So, on our table, the discussion was on the first and the second situation. So, as we all can read, Martha's situation about struggling to find reliable buyers beyond her local market. So, we discussed that Martha can actually use social media. There's power in social media. I think I've met some women in here who have been following on social media. I think there's a livestock farmer and all that. Social media also just gives you a larger audience beyond the local markets that one has. And then the other discussion we had with the ladies there was collaboration and networking. The more you network, then you get to meet buyers, you get to meet aggregators for vegetables like that. It's such platforms, as discussed by our group, that will give you an opportunity to network and meet a larger audience beyond the local market. And then the second one we had was bridging the finance gap. That is for an agri-business owner. This is the case of Josephine, who wants to expand her agri-business, but can't find access to traditional loans that would maybe require her to have collateral and all that. As FPM, we're promoting the village banking. I think Pamela did mention that. One of them is village banking. It's difficult, yes, without collateral for some people to get some loans with certain financial houses, let's say the banks, if you don't have collateral. But with the village banking, we encourage that a business person can start small and then they grow using the village bank, and they'll have access to monies that they can use to grow their business. The other thing is in certain areas, like for those in Kansansha and Kalumbila, there's the interest-free loans that are given to promote or to enhance livelihood of the local community. So women need to take chance and need to take an opportunity of such opportunities that have come to the local business. So in Kalumbila, we have loans that go as high as 250,000 kwacha, where it's interest-free and it's a returnable grant. So it's such that women can use. I'm pretty sure there's the SAF, the government has the SAF that can also be used. All those things can be used. I think Josephine and any other, and some of us here, can use such opportunities to grow our businesses. I think I'll hand over to my colleague. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Petronella. I'm presenting this group, and we looked at the question C and D. And during our discussion, as a group, we are encouraging farmers that during rain season, we need to learn the practice of conservation farming, where we store water in case of drought. So we need to start practicing that as women in agriculture. We need to make that as a practice. And then the second one, we also discussed that we need to invest in irrigation system. It's very important, especially after rain season, that as farmers we look at irrigation system as the other option to address drought issues. And then we can also invest time in going back to our traditional seeds. There is a sponsor who's going around telling us about sorghum, telling us about those seeds which our grandparents used to use, which were drought resistant. So we can also be planting that in case of drought season. The last one, we also need to insure our products. As farmers and just any other business, we need to take insurance as serious as we invest in our business, because it will cover up us in case of any disaster which are unforeseen. And then the second question, how can we maximize to add value addition to things like groundnuts? We already had our able mother who came in and told us what she has done. So it's an example. She has gone with peanuts. We can also take up to go with cooking oil. Groundnuts can produce cooking oil. So as a group, we also discussed that people can add value addition to groundnuts by producing cooking oil, by also producing pounded groundnuts. This time when you go to ShopRite, you find pounded groundnuts. For busy mothers who go for work, you don't need to go and start pounding your groundnuts, just go by, you pick up pounded groundnuts. So it's also a value added addition to that. You can also start making chalimbana. Way back, there were those things they used to make for us, chalimbana sweets through groundnuts. So those are the things we can add to sweeting malala. Yes, sweeting malala. So we can go back to the sweeting malala time and bring it to our children, and it's also a value addition. So those are the two questions that the communication related.
My name is Charity, and I'm from Table 4. So we're looking at scenario G and H. Scenario G says competing with imported products. So what strategies can help Beatrice build a strong local brand and increase customer loyalty? So first of all, consistency is key. You need to be consistent with supplying your products. So your products should be available as and when it's needed. Not today, it's there on the shelf, and tomorrow it's not. Secondly, you need to maintain a good standard. Don't compromise with what you start. What you start with, you consider, not because you want to have a big supply of the product, you compromise. So maintain a good standard. And the second scenario is women in leadership, agriculture. So how can women prepare themselves for leadership roles and create pathways for future generations? Invest in training and attending such forums. Training is key, and be mentored by those that have gone before you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mlinga Natasha. I'm from Table 6. Since all of the questions have been picked, I'll give answers for question E and F. which is question E says, or the scenarios on balancing family and business. We came up with answers where we're encouraging each one of us to create a schedule where we balance our work and our business. Just like Madam, forgotten her name, the Muite? Yes. She gave an example of how she balances between being a teacher and being a agribusiness person. Yes. And then she also talked about employing reliable workers and then having a very good relationship with them where you draw boundaries to say, you know, this is work, this is, yes. And then we also came up with an answer where we say you seek mentorship from entrepreneurs that have been in the business for a very long time. And then going to the other question, where we are saying we're building a strong agricultural cooperatives. So in order for us to build a strong agricultural cooperative, we're supposed to be having people that are spearheading, that are transparent. So if there's no transparency, there won't be any strong cooperative. And then we also have to create schedules for women and give them incentives that are going to empower them. Aside from that, we're also going to put women in support groups that are supposed to support them in terms of things that they're lagging behind. I hope my answers have made sense. I'm really scared standing in front of all of you. I'm just a baby, so I'm really trying to shake you. Yes, so that's all we had as Table 6.
Wow, a round of applause. I think we can do better than that. You can take your seat. Do we have any more volunteers who would like to share their findings from their table? All right. Any other volunteer? Over there, in the back. Yes, please come forward. One more volunteer. All right, we have 4. A round of applause. Just tell us your name and the findings that you have.
My name is Vitale Chileshe, co-owner of VBLM Farms. We plant tomatoes and at the moment, maize. So maize throughout the year.
Just share one scenario each.
Right. So for us, because answers have been given, the biggest question for the woman on all these scenarios is, why are you farming? Why are you getting into a business? Is it because your neighbor is doing it and they're successful at it? Or do you want to do it? Because looking at all these scenarios, this could be one of us in here for each scenario. So when you set out to do a business, learn. When you know why you're doing something, if faced with hardship, you will still come back to the why you started in the first place. So if you have inspiration, if you're a she entrepreneur, you will always come back to that. Now, if you're Kosa, you will come back to why you started. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tendue Mbewe, and I'm going to share on the value addition for the groundnut farmer. So some of our findings were diversifying of products. So as it says, she sells raw groundnuts. We are able to identify that from these raw groundnuts, she can partner with people who make things like ice cream. I think we've all come across ice cream with peanuts in it. She can partner with people who make chocolates.
I think ShopRite has hazelnut and chocolate spread. That's very nice. I think we can do this as well for peanut butter. She can also partner with people who produce drinks. I think one of the partners here showed us a drink that they've created from other raw cereals, and I think peanut butter, groundnut infusion wouldn't be bad in that. I think we've seen that in some of these products that we've consumed. And then we also talked about branding, which is something most of our local products struggle with. Then on balancing family and business, we said she can involve her family in her business. Your family doesn't have to be separate from what you do. I think this is a weakness that most of us have, and this is why some ventures even die when the founder dies, because it's just them and nobody else. On top of that, we said she can incorporate technology. These days, there are many tools that allow you to be able to monitor what's happening at your farm. I think these days, even with the irrigation systems that we have, they have sensors and everything that you can monitor from a remote area. Then we also talked about her creating tools. Tools can be in forms of questionnaires, trackers, or whatever it is that she may see will benefit from her ventures. This can be maybe if you're talking about feeding animals. You've got, let's say, a table that you have that is displayed for all your workers. Every time there's a feeding, somebody does a reporting of just how much and they account for that, so that when she comes, the workload is less and she just checks that and checks her stock and she's able to see that things are moving. Another thing we talked about was staff training. Most of our farmers just pick local people and they never really train them. They just teach them what to do based on the farm, but never really invest in training their staff. I believe trained staff are easier to work with and they make your entire system of production easier because they understand everything and the impacts of each stage that they do, unlike just a random person that you get that you come and start working on your farm. Another thing we said was scheduling. Most of us struggle with this. We never have a structured approach for our day-to-day activities, even as we are farming. So scheduling her day would really help her because she'll know at this point I'm supposed to be at point A. If she says, okay, my day starts at 3, between 3 and 5, I'm supposed to be at the piggery, she's at the piggery, she checks that. Between 5 and 7, she's supposed to be at the maize field, she's at the maize field. I think that helps because if you're running a big farm, it becomes difficult for you to get on top of everything. As it is, the workload itself becomes hard. And if you don't have proper structure to that, you're definitely going to find yourself struggling. Thank you.
I'm Kaputi Chavala from Table 2. We discussed on number 1, that is A. My name is Kaputi Chavala, known as Kaputi the Farmer. Me and my colleagues at table number 2 discussed a scenario A, where it says access to markets. Small-scale farmer Martha produces quality vegetables but struggles to find reliable buyers beyond her local market. She often sells a low price due to limited market information. What practical strategies can help her access larger and more profitable markets? Yes, the first one we said is social media. On social media, you can create a page as a farmer. You create a page for yourself where you can put your products there, like advertise yourself. You can also put, when you harvest your crops or you're at the farm, you can do some pictures, then you put them in status on your TV. Yes, you can also print out some flyers so that you can give them to people to know that you have also grains and vegetables. You can also do door-to-door like I do. When I harvest my okra, I go door-to-door, I pack them nicely, then I go door-to-door to sell them. So on that one, people will know that I'm having some vegetables, and then I'll grow my market doing like that. Thank you.